Today there is so much to talk about. A skin item has been updated, showcasing something to happen in the future of Season 10. We explain the Rift Beacons, how they could destroy parts of the map, and when to see more of them. There's also a leaked skin coming soon. There's so much to talk about in today's video. Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and yes, there is so many update news type things to go over. I wanted to get you guys fully up to date on what is happening, because obviously, you know, Fortnite has been updating a ton. So for sure guys, watch this video until the end so you are fully up to date on everything that has been happening recently. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump on into it. Hit that like button down below if you've been enjoying the season so far, and also comment which skin is better from the start of the battle pass, Catalyst or X-Lord. I know what I would choose, but I'm curious to see what you guys would say. Also use code TheLlamaSir if you want to help support me. And with that being said, let's get into it with the first thing I want to cover. And you know what guys, should we just start off the video with a funny one? It is a bug that is going to be fixed. We did get a comment from Epic Games, an Epic Games employee over on the Fortnite subreddit, that this is being fixed, but it's such a funny bug. Let's start it off with this little fun thing, then we'll get into the more serious stuff. Gotta start it off light, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into game so I can show you this. Alright, yeah, so here we are in game. Basically, to see this bug for yourself, and maybe to avoid it until it's fixed, you want to head over to, well, I'm pretty sure this actually happens on multiple spots on the map, but the specific spot that was shown was over in the Lazy Lagoon part of the map. So heading on down there, I gotta remember, like, the specific spot that this was at. I think it's one of these buildings, you know, gotta go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think it might be this one, though, specifically. And by the way, I'm loving this new pickaxe with, like, the little balloon. Okay, no, I was wrong. Or wait, no, it is up here. Yeah, it's this chest right here. So you see it up there? This is gonna be a little bit of a magic trick. The chest is right there, and then boom, it's gone. It's honestly kind of a funny little, like, magic trick. But yeah, that glitch has been happening in a lot of spots. This is, like, just one example. There's another one that I know of over, like, in Dusty Depot. And I'll put up, like, a little video of that right here so you can see that. But it's the same exact thing. And this has been happening at multiple spots where you break an object, then it breaks the chest. It's kind of funny, but it's also super annoying when you're trying to get that chest. Well, it appears like this is going to be looked into. But on one of those posts, Mr. Popo TFS had said, "Thanks for bringing this up. I've sent it over to our QA team to check into." So it looks like it's hopefully going to be getting fixed soon, which is always nice considering it has been in the game for quite a while, like a couple seasons now. Now after that, then we need to talk about something pretty interesting, a big change for Season 10 that actually goes in line with my previous video a little bit. And if you missed my previous video, it was all about how Kevin the Cube is going to make a return this season. Like, more than likely, there is so much pointing towards him returning. So if you missed that video, there will be a link to it down below in the description. But this is like another thing that builds on top of that even more and is super interesting because it does have to do with a back bling. Now I know what you're probably thinking, a back bling. How could a back bling be changing or have something to do with the story? Well, it actually does. Yeah, it was changed for Season 10 secretly, and that's pointing towards Kevin the Cube and stuff like that. So if we go into game here, or just go into my locker and then go over to back blings, you probably have this back bling as well, and you might not have even noticed it. But if you go down all the way, or it's usually towards the bottom, you want to find the Lil Kev back bling if you have that. But if you take a look at it, you can clearly see that it has been updated. It is no longer just a dark shard of cube, it is actually glowing a tiny bit. So let's equip that and actually head into game so we can get a little bit of a better look at it. But yeah, like as you can see here, just hopping into a playground game and taking a look at that back bling specifically, you can see that it is, you know, glowing a little bit. It's no longer that, you know, super dark, just regular shard of cube. It actually has a glow to it, which can especially be seen in that, like, you know, edge, that little broken edge right on the very back of it, which is definitely super interesting. But on top of that, you know, you can also just see it in the whole cube itself. It's a lot more purple, a little bit more glowing. So that by itself, you know, is super interesting because, like, what could it mean? Is it more proof towards the cube returning? Well, I definitely think that's what it is. And it goes hand in hand with the stuff I put in my recent video about the cube. But it could also be changing over time. So I'll keep track of this, you know, keep an eye out for it changing more. But I definitely wanted to show you guys. And also leave your comments down below of what you think about that. It's, you know, something to take note of. And speaking of things that are, you know, likely to be returning, I recently found some extra clues about old locations returning, and don't worry, we won't talk long about this one because it is fairly short, but it's another clue I just wanted to add into the mix because obviously the Rift Beacons have been going crazy. We are going to talk a little bit more about the Rift Beacons, so don't worry about that, that's coming up soon. But yeah, it's a big question of what the Rift Beacons are going to bring back, and this seems to be another clue confirming two of the locations that are likely to return. Now, the first of which is Moisty Mire. We've talked a bunch about why Moisty Mire is likely going going to return. In fact, I have a full video about a bunch of that stuff on the channel, but basically you go into the battle pass and take a look at one of the sprays. I believe it is at tier, you unlock it pretty early, tier 14. You have the Moisty Mire spray. Now that by itself is very interesting, because why would they include the Moisty Mire spray if that location has been gone for so long? Well, obviously with all of the other stuff that has been happening, it's again very likely that Moisty Mire is going to return, and this is yet more confirmation of that. So yeah, that's one of the two sprays. But then if we move over to the right a little bit more, at tier 49, you can also find the Risky Reels spray. It's also interesting how these are called the exact names of the locations, but Risky Reels is another location that we found stuff on the map for, clues pointing towards it returning, and this is again more confirmation that that location is very likely to return in season 10 with a rift beacon becoming a rift zone and things like that. Now after that then guys, I want to talk a bit more about these rift beacons that have been popping up around the map, the schedule of the future rift beacons, how they could destroy parts of the map, and more. So it doesn't really matter when you're watching this video, as long as you're watching it in like season 10 obviously, because this has to do with rift beacons as a whole. So as of right now, as I'm making this video, the most recent rift beacon that has shown up is the one inside of Mega Mall, and Mega Mall obviously is the next target for the rifts to change, and tomorrow it's probably going to be when it changes. But again, that doesn't really matter. I just want to talk about these rift beacons and like why they're here, what they're doing as a whole, and when we can expect to see more and more rift beacons show up, because we've already had 2 in a short period of time. So for this real quick, let's jump into game. Alright, so yeah, here we are in game, or at least let's jump into this a little bit in game, because we have this rift beacon right here. Obviously it's the one in Mega Mall, and it doesn't matter. We're just talking about these beacons, you know, as a whole, because obviously the first one showed up all the way over in Tilted, well, Neo Tilted, and then it turned into Tilted Town. But these rift beacons are obviously the things that are causing the rift zones. You know, those things around the locations that alter the locations to like, you know, interesting things. We don't know exactly if they're things from the past yet, because Loot Lake isn't technically from the past, but it has been pretty much confirmed to be a rift beacon. So we'll have to wait and see a little bit more about that. But we can tell that these rift zones are caused by these rift beacons, as they are officially called. And with that being said, when do these rift beacons occur? Well, actually, real quick before we get into that, I also want to confirm that these are in fact from the visitor. There's multiple ways of telling that, but you know, the obvious one is that, you know, the technology looks like something the visitor would make, and then this thing right here looks pretty much super similar to the visitor's mask, which is obviously a clue they did that on purpose. And then the rift beacons, you know, have some sort of energy. They go up into the sky, you know, create a rift. You can still see the rift above Tilted Town, but that's what's causing these rift zones to happen. And then something else I want to point out is this like core right here, which seems to be charged. It seems to be containing some sort of rift power that's being gathered. You can also see a little bit right there. So it seems to be gathering it from this panel, sort of like a solar panel, moving it all the way over here into the rift beacon. Then you can see the energy going up into here. Then the energy goes into this like, you know, circle, goes up into the sky. You also got, hold on, let me build up there. But once you're up here, it creates this like rift triangle, fires up into the sky, creates a rift in the sky, and that's what then causes the rift zones in these locations to turn back. So that's the overview of the rift beacons themselves. But something I want to take note of there is that these seem to be appearing every single week, at least as far as we can tell. Obviously we had Tilted Town last week. This time we're gonna have Mega Mall and whatever changes to it. So that's like 2 weeks in a row, and there's been a bunch of locations, like at least 5 or 6 so far, that are almost confirmed to be returning, meaning that most likely we will be seeing one of these locations every single week, which is definitely a lot of fun to look forward to. And we're likely going to be seeing like, you know, destroyed locations. Mega Mall might even be destroyed or something like that. Locations mixed in with old locations, and of course crazy things like the no building in Tilted Town. They're each going to have their special effect, which we were able to tell from the trailer for like the battle pass or something like that. Now after that then guys, let's talk about the new leaked starter pack that is going to be coming into the game soon. So yeah, the starter packs are always fun to talk about, or more specifically, I just like talking about skins and stuff like that. They're always fun. So yeah, this starter pack, the info comes from @FNBRLeaks on Twitter. He's the one who I believe found it in the files. But taking a look at what the files say, this is specifically called the Red Strike pack, and also these details are subject to change since they are early. But yeah, the Red Strike pack, and then the description for it says silence your foes with the Red Strike pack. And then obviously, since it is like a starter pack or something like that, it comes with an outfit, a back bling, and also 600 V-Bucks. So classic starter pack type bundle, going to probably be in the store as per usual. And also it looks like probably going to be around $4.99. Again, that's subject to change, and that's also in USD, but I think that's around where the price of the other ones were, or pretty much the same price as the other ones. And unfortunately, we don't have a great picture as of right right now. But I mean, this pack will probably be coming into the game soon anyways. So yeah, that's just a quick heads up. Since obviously the files are there, we can probably expect to see this soon. And then for the final thing I want to talk about in today's video, guys, it's just a quick little thing. But if you guys remember, recently they said, the Epic Games said that they were going to add a laser to help balance out the brute. Well, it's actually kind of funny because it appears to be like the laser was planned from the beginning. If you take a look at the brute, you can just take a look at it in game. There is this thing on the side of it that has been rumored to be the laser that is going to be added. And obviously I'm pretty sure that has been on there since the beginning of the season, which again is a little bit funny. Obviously, you know, the brute is a big topic to talk about, and the nerfs in Arena have seemed to help. I haven't really run into like many brutes at all when I've been playing Arena recently, but obviously it's still really powerful in the main modes. But yeah, having a laser on it is a little bit interesting. We'll have to wait and see if that really does anything. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more fun videos coming out in the near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, going over how Kevin the Cube is going to be returning, and then I believe my challenge guide below that for the recent challenges. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.